Hey, do you want to learn more about the behind the scenes of starting a small business from scratch? Well, I'm Shivani and I own Let's Circle Back Games, which is a work-themed game company. And I'm documenting the startup process myself and sharing it for anyone that wants to learn about this process alongside me. So I filed my LLC in Virginia on January 1st, 2024. And in this video series, I'm going to talk about everything that's happened in my business that I've done up until the end of Q1, which would be end of March 2024. In this video, in the video series, I'm going to talk about everything that happened before I filed my LLC. It'll be broken up into 4 chapters. Number 1, who am I? Number 2, the backstory of product development and how I came up with my first product. Number 3, research. And number 4, the business plan. So let's get started.
Wait a minute! Who are you?
I'm creating a workplace team building card game called Let's Circle Back. I'm putting the finishing touches on Let's Circle Back and it's set to launch in summer 2024. And that's my night job, but my day job is being a business consultant. So I used to work at a Big 4 firm in their government consulting practice for 4 years, and now I work at a small minority-owned federal contracting business. All right, capítulo 2, backstory of product development. So the idea of Let's Circle Back, the card game, came to me almost 2 years ago. And I only started taking it seriously in the past year, half a year, something like that. But the idea came to me 2 years ago when I had to take some time off from work because of wisdom teeth surgery. And I was just laying in my bed, not doing anything, just sitting with my thoughts for a couple days. And although I wasn't working because I took time off, I was still thinking about consulting and about team building and storytelling and education about consulting and what do consultants do. And so I started writing down my ideas in a notebook, drawing out what I thought different cards could look like or rules, or started making out prototypes on index cards and testing them casually with a friend or here and there. And then it moved on to printing out paper that was the actual dimensions of playing cards from the library printer and cutting them and sticking them together and playing them. And over that time, that slow iteration process, the game completely changed from what the original idea was that I came up with 2 years ago. And once I had a very tangible prototype, one that was printed by an actual game printing company that I could look at, versions like these, I knew that I was really wanting to start taking that more seriously and turning it into a business. January 1st, 2024, I filed the LLC for the company and Let's Circle Back Games was born. And after that, I still continued to iterate on the game and the prototypes and doing game testing sessions, which I'll talk more about in a future video. All right, chapter 3 is the era of pre-business research. So the different types of research I will call different buckets in this video are: number 1, market research; number 2, researching and identifying game manufacturers and printers; number 3, research about generally how to start a business; and number 4, identifying and leveraging community resources. Okay, so market research. I started Googling, searching on Amazon, searching Etsy, going to Target in person to look at other card game businesses and get inspiration about their visuals, their branding, their advertising, and just generally seeing what similar products exist on the market already to identify how I can distinguish my product and get inspiration for good ways to market. So I read some articles and found statistics about my particular target industry. So in my case, since my game is a card game for consultants and office workers, I looked up statistics about the number of consultants in the US, what is the income of these consultants, how much disposable income do they have, how many consultants are in my local area, the DC metro area. I also looked for statistics about the size and the growth of the adult tabletop game industry as well. But yeah, for whatever product you're doing your business around, Google is your friend. And also consider asking the local library if they have subscriptions to market research databases. Some of the databases that I believe I've heard of include IBIS World and Statista. Okay, so this is where we're going to talk about finding a game printer or manufacturer that could print prototypes. Remember, at this point in time, I'm still just looking into how to print an individual prototype, not concerning myself with manufacturing thousands of copies of the game, since I'm still in the process of refining the product. So this whole situation applies to people who are doing product-based businesses. If you're a service-based business, consider yourself lucky. You don't have to do this aspect of research, but maybe there's other stuff you have to do I don't know about. So what happened is when I started searching for game printing and manufacturing companies, a lot of companies seem to require a bulk order, which was an issue for me since I was just trying to print one prototype and test that through some game testing sessions at a time. But then eventually I found one that I was interested in called the Game Crafter, and so far I've had a good experience with them. The way it works is you can print individual games for yourself, or you can make a public facing page for a game and then let other people buy your game on a made to order basis. So that's been working for me so far in prototype development. And if you're also in the card game, tabletop game business, I suggest checking out the Game Crafter or doing some Googling for other options. So this next topic is about what I would consider how to start up a business in general. That's the kind of research I had to do. So although I'm a business consultant in my day job, my clients are the opposite of small business. They're government agencies. So although I had transferable skills, I didn't have directly transferable knowledge about starting a business. I did use the highly transferable skill from being an early career consultant, which is the skill of figuring out stuff you know nothing about. I had to go to the library and also read up on articles online and watch YouTube videos to learn about business operations, marketing, finance, and I'm still learning and Googling and YouTubing and library booking to this day. Some of the books I read at the library that I liked were Launch by Jeff Walker and Starting an Online Business for Dummies. And some of the YouTube channels that I watch that you might also enjoy are The Brand Hustler for marketing, All Up in Your Business for trademarks and business law, and Life Accounting for taxes. Right, so this last category of what I consider to be my research era is identifying community-based resources for starting a business and leveraging those. So one thing I did was I took a quick course from the local government's adult continuing education program about small business startup. And that was a 4-hour course taught by a small local business owner as well. And me and all the students got to talk to him about some of our particular business questions, like should I do a sole proprietorship or a single member LLC? And do I think this course was necessary? No, not necessarily, but it was exciting and motivating to be in a group of people that were all excited about starting small businesses that were local in my community. Oh, and also the fee was pretty minimal. It was definitely less than $100. So if you're considering buying a course online about business, I would say first maybe consider looking into if your local county government has an adult continuing education program or a community college course, something like that that can help you. And if you're going with someone that you find completely online, just try to make sure that they're a reputable person that can help you. Some other resources that might be helpful for you locally are seeing if your city or county has an economic development department. Like where I live in Arlington County, Virginia, there's Arlington Economic Development, and that department offers consultations to people who are business owners. So I did speak to someone on a 1-hour consult, but you can speak to them as much as you want. So that's a really helpful and free resource. And then another thing that's helpful is SCORE, score.org. They have mentors who are business professionals that want to offer their advice to people who are starting a business. So I have a mentor through the DC chapter of SCORE, and we meet about once a month to talk about the progress in my business and get some input, and it's helpful to have that person as a sounding board that can give me some advice as well. Now we're finally at part 4, the business plan. So before I say anything else, I want to say that your research time can be a trap, because some people like myself love to do research and will get into research paralysis, and the risk there is that you'll just never feel like you're done researching and feel like you know everything in order to go forward with the tactical steps you need to take to start the business. So with that being said, I recommend giving yourself some kind of cutoff time for your research time, like a month or half a year, whatever you want to call it that makes you feel comfortable. But after that point, you need to get tactical. When I was doing my research, I was also doing game testing sessions with my friends and modifying my prototypes and waiting for those prototypes to come in the mail. So I was trying to do multiple things at once to keep the ball moving on the tactical side. And another thing I did after my research cutoff date was start writing the business plan. So you can get example business plan ideas from SBA.gov, which is the US Small Business Administration's website. And I used an SBA.gov example as a starting point, and then started adding or removing different sections according to what I thought was important for me to document as I was trying to come up with my strategy. So some areas or topics within a business plan that I'd recommend or suggest including for you could be an about section, your problem statement, your solution, what's your target market, your industry research, revenue streams. If you have a pricing strategy, include that, any projected profits and expenses, marketing activities, roles if you have a team, your legal structure, and your plans for banking. And yeah, that was everything. So to recap, everything that happened pre-LLC was developing a product for the first time, market research, researching manufacturers to print prototypes, researching just generally how to start a business, which is something you're doing right now if you're watching this video, researching community resources that you can use and leverage for free or for low cost, and writing a business plan. So I hope that was helpful. Stay tuned for next time, where we're going to talk about everything that started happening once I filed that LLC and hit the ground running with Let's Circle Back Games.